Saturday, October 7th, 12:39 p.m. New York time. Good afternoon. This is the weekly review of the equity markets, also referred to as the stock markets. I'm going to include the major U.S. stock indexes, stock sectors, as well as the Magnificent Seven, which in the past, some of them were the FANG, but then that's outdated and it's been revised. It's called the Magnificent Seven. Sorry for pronunciation. So we'll look at the weekly chart. Each candle will represent a week. So your year-to-date performance on your buy and hold portfolio or your swing trade portfolio, not day trading, nope, but your buy and hold long-term investment, as well as your swing trading. Are you in the leadership positions for the bulls and bears? So that's what I want to point out here. If you want to trade bearish, what I'm going to show you here will include that. The weakest indexes, the weakest sectors. First, if you're buying bullish on the long term, again, swing trading bullish, you're going to see that too clearly. You don't need to read the perspective of a company of what they want to paint a picture of being positive. The charts don't lie. So we're looking at the S&P 500 cash index, green for the week, but it made a lower high than the prior week, a lower low than the prior week too. Huge wick on the bottom. Both of them have big wicks on the bottom. Yep. Setting up for a bounce, I believe, here. And I'll be looking to take my trades Friday evening if it occurs. The setup I have. Zoom out a little bit more. There we go. 3 years, each candle's a week. So you can see we're currently on a retracement mode down here on the SPX cash. And this was a key zone, this green area broke below there, closed inside of it. Buyers holding it, buyers stepping in. Yeah, maybe we get a bounce. S&P 500 largest publicly traded companies in the United States, very broad. S&P 500, if you don't know, has 11 key sectors in there. We'll go over those briefly. Now we're looking at the Nasdaq 100 for the week, green, higher high, higher low. Going back here, S&P 500 did not do that. Remember, S&P 500 did close green, but it made a lower low, lower high. Whereas now look at the Nasdaq 100 high, high, higher low. So it already turned around. And note, the Nasdaq 100 is part of the S&P 500 index. S&P 500 index is comprised of several indexes, and then the whole S&P 500, again, mentioned 11 sectors. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average, red for the week, lower low, lower high. Again, Dow Jones Industrial Average is the 30 largest publicly traded companies in the United States, worth hundreds of billions each one, as well as part of the S&P 500 index. Well, look at this. S&P 500 closed green, Nasdaq closed green, and Dow closed red. So already looking at this, we already see which one's more bearish bias. And this swing low here, this area being tested here now, and certainly this key zone 2. So maybe we're going to pop. Now we're looking at the Dow Transports. It's also part of the S&P 500. Yeah, red, lower low, lower high. Wait, buyers stepping in here. Did break below this zone, midpoint. And the utilities, Dow Jones Utilities. Yep, also part of the S&P 500. So here, it took out the low of last year. Let's extend it out all the way, 2021. Yep, extremely bearish, the Dow Utilities. Charts don't lie. We took out the low of last year here. So now we can remove that. Also made a new low for this year. Very weak. Very weak. And the Russell 2000, red, lower low, lower high. Very close to the lows of this year. The Russell 2000 is not part of the S&P 500. Nope, it's small caps. It's the leadership, the better of all these indexes, the Nasdaq 100. Again, higher high, higher low. Buyers stepping in for those big companies, technology. We will get to those when we get to the Magnificent Seven. Again, big difference in performance. You see here, again, some of them making lower lows, lower highs, some making new lows for the year, some reversing. How's your portfolio doing compared to the Nasdaq 100. I hope it's doing either equal or better. Well, now let's go into the sectors, the 11 sectors of the S&P 500. We'll go top down. Top down being the one that's the largest weighted. XLK. Technology. Look, green, higher, high, higher, low. It's very much weighted to the Nasdaq 100. That's why it's similar. And these are stock ETFs. You can invest in these. XLY. I'll say again, XLY, healthcare. Green, lower, low, lower, high. Huge consolidation here. XLF, financials. Yep. Red, lower, low, lower, high, just like the Dow. Again, the Dow is heavily weighted in banks. And the Russell 2000 index is heavily weighted in banks, but smaller size. The ones that are regional, not big nationwide presence. Give you an example. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, the Dow 30, has the big banks, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, American Express, got it. Or little banks that might be just in several states or regions of the United States, you may see in the Russell 2000. So the Russell 2000 is much more sensitive to interest rates too. Again, we saw financials down here. Look at that. Red, lower, low, lower, high. XLY, consumer discretionary. Green, but lower, low, lower, high. Tight consolidation, small little bodies. XLC, communication services. Green, higher, high, higher, low. That's turning around. Huge consolidation. It's resting here, a huge resting phase. Again, the trend was up, resting phase, higher probability that it should break out above the upside. Yep. So again, we know it's performing better than several stock indexes. So you can narrow your investment down to the good sectors. XLI, industrial, red, lower, low, lower, high. XLP, consumer staples, new low for the year. Loser. Yeah, consumer staples, new low for the year. So we got this Dow utility index, as well as this stock sector here, new lows for the year. Again, trading bearish. These are the ones to be trading bearish. XLE, energy, red, lower, low, lower, high, huge smackdown. XLU, utilities, same thing. Look at that. We took out the low of 2021. Wow. Zoom out. There we go. 2021, we took out the low. I can move that. Made a new low for the year. Also, extremely bearish here. XLRE, real estate. Yeah, no surprise. We took out the low for the year. So let's move it down. There we go. XLB, materials, red, lower, low, lower, high. And those are the 11 sectors in the S&P 500. You see the biggest losers are the biggest winners. Again, we just saw XOK technology, green, higher, high, higher, low. That being said, let's go look at the Magnificent Seven. Same thing, each one will be alphabetical order and weekly candles. So Apple, green, higher, high, higher, low. Huge. Buyers are still defending this. Amazon, yellow, inside candle. Interesting. A lot of inside candles the past several weeks up here. Very concerning. Yep. Because you had the impulse move down and it hasn't done the big retracement. But that 125 has been holding. So apparently people think that's a fair price to buy. If you think so too, maybe we'll put spreads down here or further down. I'll wait till I get confirmation of that breakout because you don't want to get a gap down. Google, as we know, the company's called Alphabet, but they kept the stock symbol. Green, higher, high, higher, low, very close to the high year. Look at that, extremely bullish. Look at all this. Nice. I don't need no moving average to tell me the trend is up. I'm looking at these consolidations, staircase pattern, higher, high. And look, there's retests of wicks. help determine if it was rejection, like here was a rejection, and a buying opportunity. Meta, former known as Facebook, green, higher, 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 low. Again, huge consolidation like the other one I showed you. Building energy, probably for the upside. And Microsoft, green, higher, 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 low. Nice. Look at that big wick there. Tested there. Buyer stepped in. Put this with volume. See how that's going to know what's occurring here. A little bit better. So this high, you're going to see volume here on the left, bottom left. When I hover over the candle, that would be updated. So this bearish pin bar, we got 228 million plus down here, this low candle, 102 million plus. So again, high volume up here, lower volume here. Okay, 102 million down here. And look at that test here, 107 million, 102, 107. Not much of a big difference between these two. Yep. But watch this. This was 102, the red candle, and then the green candle, 106. So more buying on the upside here. Let's look here. 107, 104. That's buying, but look, it's in this huge consolidation phase. So we're going to see if it continues up. But interesting too, this has a higher probability of being retested because of the mega volume. And we can look down here too, right here. 102, here too. 158 million, 158 million. So there's less selling down here. Even though the tiny little candles look like reversals. Nice. That was Microsoft. NVIDIA, green, higher, high, higher, low. Tesla, green, higher, high, higher, low. Huge choppiness in here. Snow, green, higher, high, higher, low. And Netflix, green, but high and low. Yeah, so Netflix, might want to compare this with Disney. Look at that. Tight consolidation range. And building staircase pattern lower low. So problems here. Problems. Let's just include Disney. Yep. And both suck and win. Well, if we look at these top three on top, Apple, Amazon, Google. Yeah. Again, you see Google strong up here. Nice. Just give you some insight. Big difference on how these are performing in the many individual sectors as well as the indexes.